Hey everyone, Lucas from Aussie Gamers Express here, and today I'm bringing you an unboxing and my thoughts and opinion on the Nacon Revolution Pro Controller. So let's go and have a look at it now. Alright, so here it is here in its beautiful box. I'll try not to get too much of a reflection on my head. You don't want to see that too much. It's a very shiny box, as you can see there. So there we got it. Alright, let's get the sticker stuff off. Let's watch me struggle. See how to get this box open. Alright, there's one bit of sticky tape. Hope there's, oh god, there's 4 of them. Oh wow, that ruins the box a little bit underneath there. Doing well so far. Okay. Oh. 3. It's kind of my thing now, doing it this way without removing this, so I didn't want to prepare it beforehand. Alright, that's off. Let's get this sheet off here, the external, we'll put it away. Let's have a look at that. That's really nice. Does that look like a cobra or some sort of snake? It's cool. Oh, it opens up that way too. Ta-da! Alright, Revolution Pro Controller. That's cool, they've molded that. Let's open it up, get that out of the way. Oh, baby! Look at that. That looks pretty neat. I'm going to put the controller aside for a second, continue unboxing. Right, inside here, what do we have? Oh, looks like a cable packet, we'll open that in a second. We've got they look like there's that stickers in there and probably a little bit of an instruction booklet. Look at that. That's stuck to that, whatever that is. That's a cap. That looks just like a protective cap to go on the end of the cable. Yeah, alright, put that aside. And a bag, I'd say. That is a bag to put it in when you're not using it, which will probably get used for the first couple of times, and then it'll be like, nah, just put it on the table. And a warranty card. Alright, so let's leave that. Let's put the box aside. Now that we're successfully unboxed, let's bring this stuff back. No, we don't really want to look at that, do we? Let's put that. We haven't seen what's inside this yet. This will be the cable. I wonder if I hope it's a braided cable. Yeah, it is. Okay, there's a fair bit of cable to it. I think it's 3 meters, I think. I'll clarify that after I've used it in the next portion of this video. But that's a nice braided cable. USB for the PlayStation. And the other end there looks like a PS2 cable, which goes into the actual control. It screws on, so it's removable, but you will need this, I believe. I don't believe it has any wireless ability. But you got to plug it into that. Alright, there's also more in here. Oh, these will be the weights, because I believe this controller, the Revolution Pro, is actually, you can actually adjust. Oh, I'm losing one of them. You can, let me just adjust this camera down. Okay, so there you go. I managed to adjust the camera. So yeah, you've got I think that might be a little key thing to open up the panel, but you can actually add and subtract these weights to change the actual weight of the controller to your own liking. So that's a 17 gram weight, 14 gram weight there, another 17, that one's a 10 gram weight, this one's another 10 gram, they look like little dumbbells. Whoa! Looks like the little mice can be in the gym going, so that's a 10 gram, and that one would be another, what's that one? Another 14 gram. So there you go. You've got 6 different weights there to change the weight of the controller. Let's put these aside and let's bring the controller in and have a look at it before we start using it. Alright, let me just adjust this camera again. Alright, here it is. Oh, the touchpad feels nice. Doesn't have a very definitive click. It feels soft. The sticks are a little bit taller. Oh, the sticks have got different nubs on it. That one's got like a concave top on it, whereas this one's convex. That doesn't bother me. D-pad, oh, I don't know what that'll, oh, I suppose it's alright, but it feels a bit weird. I don't know, it's alright. Headphone jack in there for your for chatting and all that sort of stuff. Okay, I like the R1 and L1 button. They've got a real definitive click to it. That's cool. And the triggers. Triggers are okay. They've got, I think they're a little bit stiffer than the normal PlayStation controller, the genuine ones, the standard genuine ones. But nevertheless though, that feels pretty decent anyway. I'll have to give it a try. PlayStation button feels normal. And the share and option buttons are good. I actually like that press better of the share and options button. Although because this one has more of an Xbox One design with the stick, left stick up the top here and the D-pad down here, it kind of gets in the way of pressing the share button. It's a bit tricky, but something you can work around for so you won't be pressing that all the time. You're mainly doing these ones, but yeah, so it's a bit more of an Xbox One style controller for the PS4, which is handy. They just feel like normal buttons, the face buttons there. Right, let's turn it over. On the back here we've got mode switch, 1 and 2, and profile for changing profile, I would imagine. That's nothing, that's the same as this, it's just probably covering screws. And you've got extra like paddle sort of presses there, which will no doubt just double as like X and circle and all that sort of stuff, so you can map it to jumping in first-person shooters rather than taking your finger off the thumbstick to jump, like doing that. You can stay like that and press these on the bottom there, and you can also press forward like that or back like that. So there's 4 presses on the back there. So it's something to get used to. I can imagine it won't be terribly easy to start off with converting to that due to muscle memory and the usual usage, but it'll be something to get used to there. And that's where the cable will plug into and screw in. And for storage and taking it away to competitions or what have you, you can remove it to package it up nice and tidily. And I'll see if I can get that clear. There we go. So we've got the PlayStation symbols on the touchpad there, which is pretty neat. Well, it feels like a good controller in the hand, but I need to put it to its test, and I'll play some, I think I'm going to play some Titanfall 2, I think, with this controller. I'll give that a go. It'll be good for the jumping and the jetpacking and all that sort of stuff. And we'll see how it goes, and I'll come back in the second half of this video with my thoughts on what the Nacon Revolution Pro Controller is like to actually use. So thanks a lot for sticking around for this section. I'll see you in a moment. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around for the review portion of this video where I'm taking a look at the Nacon Revolution Pro Controller for the PlayStation 4. Here I got it in my sweet little hand, so let's get into this part now. Okay, so here we have the Nacon Revolution Pro Controller, which is designed specifically for the PlayStation 4. Now, I'm going to go through the basics of the control first, and we'll go through them quite quickly so as to not bore you. On the front here of the controller, the most obvious thing that I've noticed is the placement of the twin sticks, so the dual sticks that we've got here. This one here is off-placed with the D-pad, which is a lot more like an Xbox One controller, whereas the normal DualShock 4s would have both of the thumbsticks in the middle here. So that's a little bit different to normal, but I quite like the offset stick setup there that's like the Xbox One controller. It seems to work really well for comfort, so it's a good idea to have this one available there. Secondly, the D-pad itself, it's a non-gated style D-pad, which means there's no hard plastic in between the cross. It's literally open, so you can spin that around. I'm not a big fan of a non-gated D-pad, but I didn't really find any massive issues while using this D-pad playing games. Now, I've spent about 12 to 13 hours with this controller playing Titanfall 2, and I'll get to a reason why this sort of controller is absolutely amazing for that kind of game. So next up, standard, we've got the PlayStation button in the middle here, which works just like a normal PlayStation button, and we've got the share and options button on there, and those are the only two buttons that can't be customized on this controller. Just about everything else, well, actually everything else on the controller is customizable. Now, the touchpad works just like a normal touchpad, and there was one criticism that I had of the touchpad itself, and that was that it was a bit spongy. It didn't have a very positive click. Now, not that you can really tell when it's on camera, but there's no real definitive click there, and sometimes when you press it, it leaves you wondering, did I press that? I'm not sure, but only a minor issue there. The share and options buttons click quite well, which is good, and the face buttons there are fairly similar to your standard DualShock 4. There is a light ring around the right hand side thumbstick. You can't really tell too much with the light on. I'll show you up some photos of it in a sort of a dimly lit area, and you'll see. Also, you might be able to make out there is a little red light on there, and there's 4 of these tiny little LEDs. We'll get a bit of a close-up on there. You can see this one is lit up. Now, if I press the profile button on the back, you'll see that that switches to the next light. Press it again, and back to profile 2. They're your 4 preset profiles, and I'll show you the button on the reverse is this profile button just there, and that's how you can change them on the fly. Now, you set up the profiles. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. And we've got 2 different modes. Mode 2 is your completely customizable mode, and mode 1 is just like a standard pro mode, which has your motion sensors. Let me just run through a list here actually. It goes through your motion sensors, the touchpad, dual vibrations, 3.5mm headphone jack, which is in the normal spot there underneath. You've got the PlayStation share and options button, so the PlayStation button in the middle there, L1, R1 shoulder buttons, L2, R2 analog triggers, left analog joystick with L3 button, and right analog joystick with the R3 button, and the 8-way direction pad plus your face buttons there. So that's in mode 1, like that. And then you can fully customize every button there except for the options and share button by flicking it over to that one and using your profiles. Okay, so there's also a light underneath here. I believe if I turn that on, we turn the PlayStation on. Okay, now I'll show you on the back here, we've got the extra buttons here where I think is the most amazing part of this, and that's these little buttons here. Now, they're your extra buttons that you can map. They're called, what are they? M3, M1, M2, and M4. Now, these buttons on the back here, you can map them to whatever you want. And what I like doing is mapping this side button here to jump, this side button here to crouch with a first-person shooter, speaking about Titanfall 2. And then you can use this one for reload and this one for changing weapons. So the most amazing thing, or the best thing about this setup is some of the controllers like Scuff and the Xbox Elite controller use paddles that come down the back of the controller. Now, it can be a little bit confusing as to which one to press. Now, what I like about this one is that you've got like a pull and a push button. And it's hard to imagine if my hand was holding the controller like this. Maybe I'll use this side. I would push this one, pull this one, and then push for that one. And it makes it a little bit more obvious to yourself on the fly as to which button that you actually wanted to press. So it makes it a little bit easier to distinguish between them. So those 2 buttons are absolutely amazing when it comes to first-person shooters, specifically the futuristic ones where you're doing double jumps, glides, jet packing, all that sort of stuff. So that's an amazing feature on this controller, and it's probably one of the biggest things that people think about when you think about these kind of pro controllers. Now let's take a look at the top of the controller, where we've got R1 and L1. R1 and L1 have a nice definitive click on it, which I found really nice, and the triggers are nice and smooth. Now with these triggers as well, you can customize them to the point where you get full activation by a small push, or you can have just a full push like normal, and same goes on both triggers. And just going back to the right hand thumbstick here, you can actually change the dead zones on the thumbstick and also how much pressure you want to push into them, so it's quite impressive. Right, so the next thing I want to show you guys, and it's about these little things here. They are your weights, because you can change the weight, the overall weight of the controller. Now it comes with two 10-gram weights, they're the 10-gram ones. They've got two 14-gram weights and two 17-gram weights, and I've got those other ones that you can't see inside the controller, and let me show you how that happens. So you use this little key that comes with it, and you turn this part of the controller, and you can pull out these here, and these are the little weight components. So there, you got it there, and then you can remove those and put whatever weight inside there that you want. So if you want to change it, make it a bit lighter, you use a lighter weight, or you can remove them completely and not have any of the weights in there. I've put the heaviest ones in there, but me personally, I'm not terribly fussed on it, and I can have it heavy or light, but that's what I do. I put the heaviest ones in there and I just leave it like that, and it's quite comfortable. So it goes back in there. Let me see which way it goes in. Lining up, and you got to line up these dots. There we go. Turn that back, and she's in. So there you go, and it changes the weight of the controller there. Now the cable itself, it's a 3-meter braided cable. As you can see there is the braided cable, and it is removable. So I'll show you. You just need to turn that, and you can remove it. Now the only thing is, removing it is literally only for storage, because this is a wired controller only. Now the argument can be said that these controllers are wired because they're pro controllers. They are meant to be used by professionals who need to get rid of that 0.00063 milliseconds of lag. Me personally, I am nowhere near good enough to be worrying about that kind of lag, because I'm just not that great at games. But maybe there are pros out there where it's important, but for people that are playing predominantly in their home, that sort of stuff makes near zero difference to you. So that's one thing that I found that's a little bit disappointing. I'm about 4 meters away from my TV, so this cord is not long enough. So I used an extender cable, which worked and had no dramas, but it's just not convenient. So that's something that I don't like, but there are good reasons to it. Now, another thing as well, I'm neither here nor there about it, but this controller does not have an external speaker or an internal speaker, whatever you want to call it. So there's no built-in speaker like a normal DualShock 4 has, and there is also no light bar. There is a light bar absent and the speaker. So this is not compatible with PlayStation VR, because the VR needs the light bar on the front there to track the controller's movements in 3D environment. So this is not for that kind of gaming, which it makes sense that it's a pro controller. It's not for VR. I understand that. So they're the things that sort of need to be taken into consideration. It's corded. It can't be used wirelessly. It doesn't have a speaker, and it doesn't have a light bar as well. So if those things are an issue, maybe think about that before purchasing. Now, The way that you map all of the different buttons is you need to use a PC. That's another thing, probably one of the biggest things other than the cable that bothers me, is that there's no app for the PlayStation 4. You literally need to download an app from the website on your PC, plug the controller into your PC and do the mapping that way. Now, another disappointing thing is when you plug it into your PC, this controller is not recognizable by the PC as a DualShock 4 controller. So you can't use this on your PC either, even though Steam has recently integrated Steam has recently integrated with DualShock 4 support. This one won't work with your Steam library. Also, if you use the PlayStation Share Play, I think it's called, where you can stream your PlayStation 4 onto your PC, you can't use this either because you need to plug the controller into your PC, and this won't be recognized even when you're playing PlayStation 4 games. So there's a few things to take into consideration that possibly aren't that great. Some good things about it: it is a very, very sturdy device. There's no give, there's no twisting, there's no creaking when you hold it firmly. It feels nice and solid. You've got those weights that make it feel like it's a good heavy duty device or controller. So it is, it does feel like a good build. Also, if you take a look at these sticks on the stems there of the thumbsticks, they are made out of metal, so they're not going to wear away and grind away like the plastic ones on the normal DualShock 4 controllers. Also, thing to note as well, the left thumbstick is a concave design, if you can see that, and the right thumbstick is a convex design. I didn't really notice that and didn't really play into it too much when I was actually playing. It's more so just something I noticed. I don't really mind either way. If I had a preference, I'd make them both concave like that one. But either way, they still feel nice to use. So for a price of, you can get these currently at JB Hi-Fi for $179. Is it worth it? The answer is yes. If you're happy enough with a corded controller, it is going to be fantastic. Now, the only other alternative for PlayStation to get something like this with the extra buttons on the back that you can program up for macros and all that is a SCUF controller, and a SCUF controller is going to set you back more around the $300 mark. So for $180, it's not a bad idea. However, for the extra 100 and whatever dollars for a SCUF controller, you may get something that is wireless. But if you're not fussed, if you sit close to your PlayStation 4 and you can do the wired controller, maybe this is a good idea for you. This is the Nacon Revolution Pro Controller, which is available now for the PlayStation 4. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this controller and if it's something that you would like to purchase. And if you've got any questions about it, let us know as well. It comes in the box with a Revolution Pro Controller cloth, and you also get a bag as well that you can put it in for when you're storing or taking it away somewhere. So thank you everybody for watching this unboxing and review video. Like I said, if you've got any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And in the meantime, check out the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page. We're also on YouTube, and we also have a website, www.aussiegamersexpress.com. And please check out our weekly podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. As per usual, I am Lucas Aurelius, and I'm here for Aussie Gamers Express, and I will catch you guys in the next video that I happen to create just for you. See yous later.